I don't know if you have seen this kind of designs before now, or maybe you've wondered how they came to be. It has been a design style for different brands and companies such as Chowdeck, Moonshot, and lots of them, as well as a style for UI UX design, web design, and even apps design. It is called Neobrutalism. Before we go on, let's know how this kind of design came to be. Neobrutalism is inspired by an architectural movement that started in the mid-20th century, say 1950s to 1970s. The word Neobrutalism originated from brutalist architecture, that is brutal, meaning it lacked conventional design. It is just bare. The buildings then had no style. They were just exposed, using unpainted concrete or bricks with angular geometric shapes and mostly monochromatic color schemes. So, New Brutalism is a tuned down version of brutalism. The earliest example of the brutalist movement was traced in 2010, though it was in use before then, but it was commonly recognized and became a predominant style for UI UX, graphics design, web design, and app development. What are the characteristics of New Brutalist? Because it was inspired by architecture, it defies the traditional design styles, so it has its own unique style. Your inspiration should come from an aerial view. For example, imagine yourself watching a building from an aeroplane or helicopter. Another feature is color explosion or clashing of multiple colors, which defies the design principle that says less color is more. Another characteristics of New Brutalism is no gradients. It uses bold fonts, especially the sans serif. Also, I'll put the links of the fonts I use in this video in the description below. Next feature is strongly defined geometric shapes, such as the circle, the square, rectangle, and triangle. We also have animations. Another very important feature of New Brutalist design is the strong black shadow that is being cast behind the subjects. In this video, we are going to take the design process step by step. First, we design the mesh. Then we turn geometric shapes into New Brutalism. Afterwards, we will design a flyer so that we can understand better the New Brutalism design methods. If you are designing with me, remember to pause and rewind anytime you get lost, or ask any question in the comment section. But if you are here for the knowledge for later use, you are most welcome. We'll be using Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop for this design process. First, on your Adobe Illustrator, click the line tool and draw a line at the edge of the artboard. Then duplicate and give it a distance of 60 pixels towards the X direction. Duplicate the line multiple times using Ctrl D. So we want to obtain a perfect shape. So you just drag the line so that it will meet up at the edges of the artboard. Right click on the grouped horizontal lines, then click on transform and then rotate to 90 degrees. Click copy to duplicate and press OK. To make sure everything is aligned well, just click on the align tool to perfectly align the lines. After that, you drag the mesh to Photoshop. Because Photoshop and Illustrator work hand in hand, you can easily edit the mesh in Illustrator just by double clicking on the mesh, then go to Illustrator. So we want to create different design styles using the mesh so that we obtain different perspectives. By the way, it depends on your preference. Also know that it is not necessary to use the mesh, but you can use it as a guide to draw your lines. To create a room-like artwork using this mesh, all you need is to duplicate the mesh by pressing Ctrl J or Command J if you are using Mac. Then make sure it aligns well side by side to each other. Then right click and choose perspective. Drag accordingly. Because it's a perfect shape, duplicate and reflect it towards the horizontal axis. Then place it, which will fit perfectly on the other side of the design. Also, we are going to follow the same process to create the rooftop and the floor of the room. All you need to do is just to duplicate, then press Ctrl T to rescale the mesh so that we align well on the edge of the artboard. Then resize accordingly to fit perfectly. You can also get different angles of the room. It's just to get more creativity out of your design. So all you need to do is just to resize it to any format you want to. Also, I want to show you why I said using mesh is actually very okay while designing a brutalism artwork. It helps to guide you when you're drawing lines. You just need to follow the lines and trace it perfectly. Also, you can also create a hole in the design using the guides from the lines. Just need to follow the lines and obtain a very perfect geometry. You can also use the lines to place a text in a perspective form. All you need to do is to convert this text to a smart object, then use the distort tool to align well using the guides from the mesh. Next, we'll learn how brutalism tests are being designed and even the geometry shapes. Basically, you use both fonts, and most importantly, the artwork is characterized by black strokes. For me, I prefer using the strokes from the blending options. Right click on the subject, then go to strokes, depending on individual preference. But for me, I use the range of 5 to 10 pixels, and it also depends on the size of the element at that particular time. Duplicate the text. Slightly use your arrow keys to adjust the black duplicates to 45 degrees, unless you want a more extruding design. Next, we are going to create geometric shapes into Neubrutalism. Draw a rectangle using your rectangle tool. Then right-click and choose blending options. Give it a thick black stroke of 10 pixels. Then duplicate the rectangle by holding down the Alt key. Using your arrow keys, slightly get a thick black cast. Then change the color to black. You can place the shape anywhere. You just need to use your creativity. Let's also do the same with the ellipse tool. Draw a circle, give it a thick black stroke. Duplicate the circle and change the color to black. Adjust it with the arrow keys to get a thick black cast. For the triangle tool, we will do something different by using the pen tool to create a black cast behind it. You can do this basically for any geometric shape. The basic principle is to create the shape, give it a thick stroke using the blending options, which is preferably. Then duplicate the shape, change the color to black, and use your arrow key to get a black cast of the shape. There are also different ways to get this black cast in Adobe Illustrator. For example, let me show you how this New Year flyer from Child Deck was created in Illustrator. Alright, we are going to use 2025 since 2024 is almost over. Then always make sure you are using the bold version of the font. Just be brutal about your design in Neubrutalism. Then give it a solid black stroke as usual. Then go to Effect, select Distort and Transform. For the vertical and horizontal moves, give it a 0.1 pixel each. Then the copies, make it 500. Depending on the distance you want, you can increase or decrease yours. There is also another way to get this black cast. Let's use hello as an example. Convert it to smart objects. Go to the objects menu and next blend. Set the parameters to specify distance of 1000. Also here you need to first of all you need to duplicate the word so that it will form the colored part. Then we go again, go to, now we have set our parameters, then we go and apply the blend. And these are some of the ways you can get the thick black cast behind text that forms the new brutalism designs. Next, we are going to create a flyer to help us understand more how to apply the principles in new brutalism. Okay, let's just duplicate an artboard here. For me, during my designs, I do reduce the thickness of the mesh, then blend it with the background color. For this flyer, the idea is to create an office, say reception. The robot we downloaded earlier will be the receptionist. Using the mesh guide, draw the walls of the office, then duplicate and place it side by side. Then following the procedure, draw another rectangle which will serve as the desk of the office. Always remember to add solid black strokes. Then place your robot behind the desk. And as usual, using the pen tool, create a solid black cast. Also give it the same number of pencil stroke to blend very well. Resize the robot to fit well, just to maintain more realistic design. Draw another one behind, then give it a stroke. Add the logo and use the mesh guide to align perfectly. For For this tutorial, we are just going to create a random title using all the principles we have learned earlier. Create a rectangle and give it a stroke. Then create a black cast to give it a brutal look. The secret of getting a better design is just to be creative. You just continue to adjust until you get something you desire, especially when you're not working with a brand color. Another great thing about Neubrutalism is that you can play with the colors. You can change the colors to your desires. Okay, let's just play with the design by adding a window-like effect on the wall. I hope you got the idea of Neubrutalism from the flyer we just designed. It gets much better when you're working with brands which have specified branding colors. Then you can play with their colors and make better designs out of it. Neubrutalism design is one kind of design that helps brands to play with colors and at the same time maintain professional look. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask in the comment section. I will do very well to answer you promptly. Also do well to like and share this video to your friends so that they can learn about this type of design. Thank you as always for being a part of this video. From us to you, stay creative, live in the moment. Till we meet next time, bye for now.